What's up guys, Z-VENATIX here, welcome back to the channel. So we got the third dev stream this week that just happened on Friday, and they got to show more gameplay. They showed us Act 2 of the very first mission you'll ever play, besides maybe the tutorial. And we actually get to see the perspective of all four characters, Catti-brie, Wolfgar, Bruenor, and Driss. So I think that's a really valuable thing for us to see. Keep in mind this is a dev build, so there will be bugs and things like that. But the game is looking good. It's getting better and better as I see. I do know that they're going to have more future updates. And if you didn't know, they announced that there is going to be split screen couch co-op up to 2 people total, and it's going to be horizontal instead of vertical, so it'll be a horizontal cut on your screen. However, that I believe, to my understanding, it's not going to be coming out immediately at launch. It's going to be coming out soon after as like a part of an update or patch. So really cool, really fun for those who like to play locally and or don't want to have to buy the game twice. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show here. It's quite lengthy, actually, about 30 minutes or so, but really good content here. Get you a good feel for the game. See ya.
What they're going to do is they're going to block your basic light attacks. You're going to have to break through their guard. Once you've broken through the guard, they're vulnerable and you can take them out pretty quickly. So what's great about having Wolfgar in the party is actually he's a bruiser, he's a barbarian. He's really good at breaking through the armor of monsters, in particular the stone guards. So once you crack their shell open, the rest of us can jump on and sort of dunk on the monster while his guard is broken.
So it's like a chewy treat on the inside of an armored shell that we just get that just so happen to break their armor and then enjoy the spoils within.
That's exactly right. And generally the way that we've designed all the characters and all the monsters, certain heroes are good against certain monsters are good against certain heroes. As you play through the game, you're just going to sort of learn the strengths and weaknesses of everyone. You'll learn their behaviors. Oh god.
The little goblin in me decided that I needed to go and grab that chest. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna get you up.
Now I'm just gonna hop out. Like, hopefully, nope, I died again. I should have probably taken a potion.
I'm trying to heal you.
I got you. I got you.
It's there.
For anyone who's played D&D before, and depending on how harsh your DM is, you're gonna be familiar with various traps in all of the sort of crypts and dungeons of a D&D game. So we've definitely been inspired by that, by our own personal D&D experiences, and so a lot of our levels are riddled with spike traps and poison traps and explosive barrels, all sorts of nasty things you have to watch out for.
I apologize for being the reason that we got in trouble right there, but to be fair, I am a loot goblin. I didn't give everybody the heads up that I will stop being a loot goblin because I get the feeling this is going to be a little difficult. All right, so we've got a bigger enemy in here with a custom icon, so I imagine he is a problem.
Yes, this is the first elite that we've encountered today. Elites are basically scaled up versions of the normal monster archetype. So typically they'll have a bunch more health, a bunch more armor, a bunch more resistance, and a bunch more damage. So we're going to want to try to focus them and take them out of the fight as quickly as possible.
And be careful from the bomber, they reach pretty far. So if you see a AoE on the ground, make sure you avoid it.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. And these guys here with the crossbows, these are the bombers that Alex was talking about. They're going to shoot those explosive projectiles at you, so you want to dodge out of the way. But one other thing to note is when you do dispatch them and you take them out, they're actually going to drop one of their bombs on the ground. So you're going to want to step out of the way. This is a bit of a challenge for some of our melee heroes because you're up close and personal, and you'll want to evade back. But for Catti-brie, she can fire at them from range, so she doesn't have to worry about when they drop their bomb. Just another reason Catti-brie is the best character.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So let me get out of here because again, the loot goblin enemy took over. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. Catti-brie seems to be one of the two devs' favorite. That and Bruenor, of course.
And what about her makes her the favorite?
Go ahead, Alex.
I keep cutting everyone. I'm sorry, guys. I do like playing ranger usually, so having attacks from far, that's what I like to do. And our armor sets are so cool.
Oh.
So I should probably just take this short rest. I apologize for just assuming that we should get a short rest, but I've already died once from being a loot goblin and I could feel another one happening. Sorry.
No one saw that, but I just fell off a cliff, so don't feel bad.
Nobody saw what? Like, I wouldn't have known about it if you hadn't brought it up. So, tell them.
I'm gonna place the explosive barrel here. So watch
Okay,
out.
so
You
it's
don't
time
want
to
to
go.
stand too close. There we go.
I appreciate the heads up because I was right next to it.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I've blown up a lot of our other devs playing in co-op when they stand too close to the explosive barrel. So I thought I'd be polite and give you a little heads up notice.
That is appreciated.
So
Of
up
course,
here
there were
we're-
always accidents in the past, right?
Yeah, that's true. Some on purpose, some actual accidents. Up here, we're gonna fight a troll. Now, this troll, he's a little bit weaker than the other troll archetypes that we have. There's 4 different types of trolls in the game. So if you're far away from them, they're gonna chuck a rock at you. So you will have to kind of watch out and watch for that telegraph when he reaches into the ground and he sort of like rips out a chunk of the earth and throws it at you. You're gonna wanna evade or block out of the way. Trolls also have a unique property, which is really in line with the D&D lore. They have an ability to regenerate some of their health. So once trolls drop below a certain percentage, all of the members of the troll family will start to regenerate their health. So as that relates to gameplay, you're going to want to try to focus them down really quickly, because if you wait too long, they're going to regenerate a huge chunk of their health.
I'm enjoying learning these little tidbits before I find myself getting destroyed by trolls.
And just like in D&D 5th edition, trolls are vulnerable to fire. So if you have maybe a weapon with some extra fire damage, if you have a buff from Brunner from the Anvil of Clangeddon, any fire damage is going to deal extra against the trolls, any of the troll family.
If we come across more trolls, I'll make sure to use that ability.
Nice.
Oh, well, there we go.
Speaking of trolls,
Here's another troll. And it looks like he's got the burning condition on him, which is great, which means we're going to be doing some periodic fire damage. I'm sure he's not happy about that. What do you think for the short rest? Should we play it safe?
I'm tempted to play it safe, but one of us is less health, and I feel like I was that one last time. So to only be fair, I will leave it up to who has the least amount of health. Should we short rest or not?
What are the pros
Let's
and
do it.
cons?
I remember last time we played, if you don't take the short rest, you get higher tier gear.
Oh.
Like the enemies get harder. I could be wrong. I'm forgetful sometimes.
Almost, just about. Basically, you have the choice. You can choose to take the short rest or not. Also, short rest is a mechanic sort of inspired by 5th edition rules. Basically, if you short rest, it's going to replenish all of your meters. So you get full health, you get full stamina, gives you all of your potions back, recharges your special abilities, all that. And it serves as a checkpoint. So if we die during our mission, hopefully not, cross your fingers, we would respawn at that checkpoint. If you choose not to take the short rest, this is the risk reward part of it, it'll actually increase the rarity of all loot for the remainder of the level. So for those people who maybe are trying to get the best possible loot in the game, maybe they want to min-max their character or something like that, you're going to want to be trying to skip as many short rests as possible.
I knew there was a
Makes
reason
sense.
why I didn't want a short rest, and that was the best explanation as to why. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you're in it for the loot, you're going to want to skip the short rests. And here you can see these stone guards are really good at blocking light attacks. They're particularly good against blocking Catti-Bree's arrows from range. But once you get the can opener, once you get Wolfgar in there, he cracks them right open.
I was pretty excited about the hammer.
I saw someone fall, I think.
That was me. Oh no! There it is again.
There
It
you
looked
go.
like I pushed you on my end. I'm really sorry about that.
It's okay.
I had a feeling you'd like Wolfgar, DJ. I just had a feeling. I had a
Like,
hunch.
by default, I wanted to go with Drizzt out of principle because I'm a fan of stealth and assassinry. But I mean, you give me a big hammer and I'm a happy guy. So let's destroy some stuff. And the spin to win is just an extra added bonus. Fiery spinning destruction. Yes, yes, please and thank you.
Up here, we're going to actually see 2 elites, which is very rare. So we have our work cut out for us. I think just in case, I'm going to call Guinevere to help us out.
Nice.
So again, the elites are just cranked up versions of their normal archetype. But what's really nice about fighting the elites is they have a better chance of dropping gear. So you're actually rewarded for that extra little spike of challenge. And it's the elites, they're there, their job is to really add a spike of difficulty and sort of mix things up, make it a little bit more volatile.
Oh, I was trying to drink a potion.
Oh, Caddy. Oh no, sorry, DJ's down. Let me get you.
Getting a little bodied. I think I have a tendency already to go in and like melee as many enemies as possible, and then having the hammer just kind of helps that along. It's like, you know, you can handle this. These enemies, I don't think they agree.
Yeah, I thought I could handle those 3 enemies by myself, but looks like I couldn't. They're pretty tough.
Here you'll see we have these metal traps on the ground. So a lot of the monsters who are subterranean, like goblins or Duergar, who are really comfortable underground, they're going to use these trap doors to navigate underground really quickly, and they're going to pop up. And we use them as part of a reinforcement system. So a lot of the fights, you don't just have to fight the guys that you see. As you're fighting through that encounter, a bunch more reinforcements are going to try to sneak up behind you, and they'll jump through those little metal trapdoors on the ground. Typically, it's the more mischievous monster families like the goblins. But overall in the game, there's 7 different monster families, and altogether there's over 30 different monster archetypes. So today we're fighting mostly trolls and mostly Duergar archetypes. But each family has a whole wide roster of family members, and each family member has their own strengths and weaknesses, just like each of the heroes have their own strengths and weaknesses as well.
That is a lot of monster.
It is a lot of monster, and it's a lot of monsters to balance as well, which is one of the favorite parts of my job.
I'm sure. So as lead designer, like, do you help coming up with more monsters? Like, are there monsters that we've never heard of?
So in the dev streams, we've only seen, if you put all 3 streams together, you've only seen a small fraction of all the monsters that we actually have. But just like working in video game development, everything is a team effort. So I work with all the other designers. We work with all the artists, the concept artists, animators, programming. It's really very much a team sport. But luckily, as a designer, I do get to have a fair amount of input on the different monsters that we encounter in the game. And the general philosophy for us is we're always going to start with what's in the D&D Monster Manual, the 5th edition. So we're definitely heavily inspired by the D&D rules, but we don't let that limit us. We take our own creative spin on it, our own creative interpretation. And really what's been a privilege for me personally is working with WotC and coming up with our own take on some of these really iconic monsters that anyone who's played D&D is super familiar with. So that goes down to the super common monsters like goblins or trolls or what have you, but also the more epic dragons and the beholders and the frost giants. So it's been really, really a cool experience for me and the design team to work on those monsters.
Yeah, and the concept artists came up with really amazing concepts for them, and character artists as well. It was really fun to have to break them and help the animators animate them. It was great.
That was actually a question I was going to ask is, since we have so many different and like creature types and monster types in D&D, like how interesting is it to not only have to like skin those and then like actually put the skeletons on and actually rig everything? Like how interesting is it to kind of bring these like iconic kind of characters and monsters to life?
It was a bit nerve-wracking at first because they look so good. You want to make sure they move. Like they are able to move great as well. And the different types we have, like it's hard to be bored by what you do when you rig a dragon one day and a beholder with a really weird mouth the next. And the different variant as well. It's nice to be able to touch pretty much every monster in the game, and also find ways to be able to have all of those monsters with the team size that we have. So we have a lot of skeleton reuse. So let's say the troll and the furby, they use the same skeleton, but they don't look like they do. So it's it was pretty challenging but fun to do.
I'm sure the Beholder with all of his eye stalks was a massive challenge as well.
It sure was. The dragon wings were a big challenge for me, though.
Yes.
And you want to get a dragon right when you do a Dungeon and Dragon game.
This is
So
true.
you're basically the necromancer of the team, reusing skeletons, putting in bones.
I do like that
Nice.
title. I think I'll go with that next time I have to introduce myself.
I feel like that's become a new official title on the team. Official necromancer of Dark Alliance. Thank you very much. So Riker, how are you feeling the combat thus far? Somebody who's played a lot of action games.
Yeah, so the ones I'm most familiar with are like the action RPGs that it's really just click and pick a skill. So this is far more engaging, combo-oriented combat. It's definitely, you know, it's different from what I'm used to, but it's a breath of fresh air to actually have to kind of focus a little bit more on one, aiming, two, you know, hitting the right combos. You know, way back in the day, I played like, you know, Mortal Kombat kind of games, so it's kind of pulling on that history as well. So yeah, it's cool to see the different combos. There's things to memorize. I think you can kind of just spam clicks, but I think people are rewarded for actually learning the combos properly and, you know, executing the right move for the right situation.
I kind of feel similar to my feeling about it, because one thing I noticed last week, you know, last time I played, I got to play with Drizzt, and it felt like all of the combos kind of just, like, you could button mash all day, every day, but like between pushing forward, pulling back, pressing at the end of an animation for a specific attack, like you could just kind of chain them together, and it felt like you could just chain them as long as you wanted. So kind of playing around with that now and seeing the kind of things that I can do with Wolfgar, for example, is just impressive. Like I went up to somebody just now and it was almost like a golf swing. Like he just kind of brought the hammer down, brought it up, it was like a hammer uppercut, and sent a dwarf flying and flipping. It's just, I'm just enjoying everything about this. So kudos to the animators and the Alexes of the team who make all these, who bring all this to life. This is great.
So that,
And
What do you
Yeah.
feel is the biggest distinction now between Drizzt and Wolfgar?
Here, I'm gonna get you up, DJ. That Durgar that you were dunking on, this is a Mind Master, so he's a member of the Durgar family, and he has really powerful magic abilities, and he has a very controversial condition. He has the condition called Confuse, and there's only 2 monsters, I think, in the game that have Confuse. And when I say controversial, I just mean like internally on the team. Some people love it, some people hate it, and as a designer, that makes me very happy because it does exactly what it's supposed to do. So if you get afflicted by the confused condition, it actually inverts your controls. So when you're using the left stick, if you press forward, you go backwards. If you press left, you go right. And it's particularly dangerous if you're on an exposed platform or a battle arena where there's no walls to keep you safe. So that's something to keep an eye out for. You don't want to be confused near the ledge of a cliff.
That is the first time I can remember hearing about a game where Confuse was actually used in a way that was legitimately confusing. So I'm kind of excited to experience confusion now. Now, see, we've got a couple questions coming from the community. Zerby on YouTube has asked, can you dip your weapons in fire to fight trolls better?
So you can't dip your weapons in fire, but there's a couple different ways that you can get elemental damage on your weapons. One is there'll be weapons that have fire damage as a stat, so it'll just roll on it. Another way is through the buffs. So Brunner, your hold Y ability, it's called the Anvil of Clan Geddon, and it's actually going to drop down this like massive anvil onto the ground. And as long as we stand in the area around it, we're going to gain a buff called Elemental Fire Weapon. And it gives all of our attacks an extra bonus percentage of elemental damage. So it's especially useful if you're in particular levels where you're going to be fighting a lot of trolls or a lot of other monsters that might be vulnerable to fire. And that way what you want to do is, once you know what monsters are present in a particular mission, you're going to want to change your loadout. You're going to want to maybe equip weapons that have fire damage, or maybe you're fighting an ice troll, in which case you want to have armor that has ice resistance. So it's all about planning ahead, planning your loadout and getting yourself ready for the mission at hand.
Nice. While you were saying amazing things about prepping for the mission,
I died.
but we also have another question from a Baby Dragon Project over on Twitch. If you die, do you lose the slot? Oh no,
We're down.
oh,
Good thing we used the short rest.
this is true, because I was gonna be greedy on that one. It's like, no, should we use the short rest? It's a good thing we did. But Baby Dragon Project asks, if you die, do you lose the loot you gained from the last checkpoint? So I feel like that's kind of relevant to our situation.
Extremely relevant. Perfect timing for that question. All of your loot, you get to keep it. The only caveat to that is you have to finish the mission. So we want to reward you playing a discrete chunk of the game, that's one level. And after you complete the level, you're going to head back to the base camp and you're going to get all of your loot. So as long as you make it into the end, that's all that matters.
That's kind of forgiving, because I know a lot of times when it comes to making that kind of design decision, you want to just go with, all right, you went back to your checkpoint, so nothing you've got since that last time you were at that checkpoint counts. So that's just forgiving, and I appreciate it, especially after seeing how the difficulty jump changed from the last time we played at I think it was tier 1, with this one being
I
tier
think you
2.
played challenge rating 1 before, and now we're at challenge rating 2, so everything is going to scale up. I would just say that, like, when it comes to making design decisions for the game, typically, or not even typically, exclusively, we always think about what's the best experience when you play with your friends. And this game is not like a super punishing hardcore game. It's a game that's really fun to play with your friends. So whenever we have to decide, like, oh, are we going to be extra punishing and take their gear away if they die, ultimately it comes down to what's going to give the best possible co-op experience, and that makes the decisions really easy from a design perspective.
That is awesome, because you can never have too many good co-op games. So to have a co-op game that is so heavily focused on D&D, obviously a Dungeons and Dragons game, but things like the short rest, like, just feels good to have that acknowledged, and that's an awesome series of design decisions to make it easier to continue that co-op experience. So thank you for that on behalf of everybody everywhere.
Riker, that was a perfect healing circle. That's like my favorite. It's probably the best move in the game. Like, it keeps everyone alive. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm trying. I even picked the revive. Like, we have what, 4? Is it 4 powers each that we have to pick from? So I picked the two heal ones to try to support the party as much as possible.
Nice.
Yep. I think those are gonna come in handy.
Considering we just got wiped a minute ago, I'd imagine that's definitely gonna come in handy very soon.
So I think this was the fight where the monsters got the best of us, I think.
So I'm gonna come up here and take this troll out.
Yeah, let's take
First.
this guy out first.
Because
I will
Now-
keep my
seeing-
anvil skill for the troll that killed us all.
Yeah, that'll be perfect. Because trolls hate fire. Let's take
I
this
just remember
guy out.
earlier when we first saw the troll, we saw that the troll at a distance picked up earth and was throwing it at us. So it is fully likely that that guy was throwing earth rocks at us the entire time we were down here fighting, and we didn't have anything to combat it because we weren't paying attention to him. So I think we've already upped our chances in this battle.
Yeah, I'm feeling more confident than last time. It's all about, as a player, you're going to learn the strengths and weaknesses of all the monsters. You're going to learn sort of which elements or which attacks they're vulnerable to or which ones they're resistant to. And you learn their AI and behavior, and that's how you become a more skilled player. And that skill is really required when you want to crank up the difficulty. Right now we're just playing at challenge rating 2, but when we launch, we're going to be launching with 6 different challenge ratings. So this is like a third of the ultimate level of difficulty. So learning those mechanics, learning the timings of the monster's attacks is so important to be able to defend yourself, whether that means blocking, evading, or parrying.
So with having those challenge ratings, that also adds in a bit of replayability as far as like maybe coming back and getting more gear, I'm imagining.
Yeah, exactly. For those players that want to get the best possible gear in the game, you're going to want to play at the highest levels of difficulty. All of the probabilities for rarity and the higher quality gear really scales up when you play at difficulty 4, 5, and 6. So those players who want to get the best gear, who maybe want to min-max, you're going to want to play the game at those highest levels of difficulty. Oh man, this guy hits really hard.
He's
Troll
got
is
that ulti
super
though.
strong.
Heal up.
Oh,
Nice
thank
heal.
you.
So a characteristic of trolls is they have a lot of wide area of effect attacks. So you'll see he'll like swing his arm from left to right or from right to left, and he has these like massive swipes, which if we all group up next to him, we're all gonna take damage. So sometimes it's better to attack the troll one at a time, but as long as we keep pressure on him so that he isn't able to fully regenerate all of his health. If we leave him alone for too long, he's going to get back and be fully healed up again.
I would vote taking a short rest after
I was
this
gonna
fight.
say exactly that, because like not taking that rest would have us having to come and fight them again if we get wiped, which I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, because this is more difficult, and I actually like that.
I think that was a wise choice.
I think we did great on round 2. I'm proud of us. Go team.
Right. And let me not hit these guys first. Make sure the whole team is here. And then we've got a question coming from YouTube from K-Sib. As the difficulty increases, what all changes with the monsters? It's not just HP, defense, strength increase, or do the monsters get smarter and use more tactics?
So the way that the difficulty works, there's 2 elements to it. One is the challenge rating that you choose, and that's what the party leader does when you're back in Kelvin's Cairn, which is the base camp where you start and end every mission. So you're choosing your difficulty, and what that does is it scales up monster health, monster damage, it scales up their armor and their resistances as well. So that makes them more resistant to your physical attacks or your elemental attacks as well. The other thing that scales up the difficulty is your party size. So actually, we're going to be fighting a boss here.
Ooh.
This is Stone Grinder. He's an abomination troll. So he's the 4th member of the troll family. We saw 3 of them today. We saw the common troll, the fodder troll, abomination troll. Actually, we saw the bile troll as well. Each of the monster families in the game have multiple archetypes. So we have 5 different Duergar, we have 5 different goblins, 5 different trolls, all sorts of different variety. This guy is going to hit super, super hard. Ouch.
Do you want to lure him into the explosive valves?
Yeah, good call. Just to go back really quickly for the difficulty, their behaviors don't change, but all of their stats scale up, and they are much more dangerous, as you can see. The other thing that, yeah, he hits super hard. So he is lightning themed. There's 5 different elements in the game. We were inspired by Dungeons and Dragons. We didn't use all the elements, but we chose 5 of them that most aligned with the gameplay that we wanted to deliver. So this guy, if you had lightning resistance gear, you'd be taking less damage from him. Unfortunately, we're just using the default gear set, so we're going to be taking full damage from this guy's elemental attacks. Ouch. I'm going to get Guinevere out here because, just like in the books, Guinevere's here to save the day.
This hammer sending this dude flying is just feeling joyous every time it happens.
Do you have your ultimate, DJ?
I do not. I'm about
Okay. Not yet.
2/3 of the way there.
We'll see if we can
If I
get
had the
there.
ultimate, I would definitely have been swinging that already. Like, please, get served.
Touche. So usually each of the levels has an elemental theme, and a lot of our monster archetypes will have the 5 elemental variants. So we saw the Duergar bombers. Those are the guys with the crossbows that shoot bombs at us. If it's a fire-themed level, they're going to be shooting fire bombs at us. If it's an acid-themed level, they're going to be shooting acid bombs at us. The same is true for goblin archers. The same is true for the goblin booyags. So many, many, many different monster archetypes actually have elemental variants as well. So if you count all the different possible monster types together, there's a huge variety of different monsters in the game.
That is
So you'll see
wild.
this guy, he's regenerated a whole bunch of his health. But luckily for us, troll regeneration can only be performed once. Otherwise, trolls would be really, really hard to kill.
Oh, and it's time.
There we go.
Get bodied. Get bodied. Oh. It did not do as much damage to him as I was hoping it would.
He's really cranked up at difficulty 2.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's great about your ult is it actually kicks up our combo tracker really high. I'm not sure if that's been mentioned in any of the other dev streams, but the combo tracker actually fills up your ultimate bar even faster. So it's a bit of a positive feedback loop. Uh-oh.
I'm coming to revive you. Oh no.
No,
I'm so low.
don't get caught. Don't get caught.
Oh no. And I got got.
Run. I can force a respawn. Oh wait. Nice.
Oh, the revive.
Get out of there.
Riker. Oh my god.
Appreciate
I don't know what the range of that
ya.
was.
Dude, that was amazing.
Appreciate it. The teamwork though.
Oh my god. The
I'm
clutch.
out of
hit.
potions and I died again. He hit so hard.
As we watch, we
Try
notice
to
a
come and
dead
revive you
DJ.
if I can.
Dude, I can't believe you played that perfectly. Like, we didn't rehearse that at all. Like, that's so dope.
Oh no, I died trying to revive you.
It was a trade though. It was a trade. The
Here,
healer's
we'll
now
get
up.
you.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
so close too.
I got you.
Appreciate it.
Don't die.
I'm gonna dodge and get out of here really quickly, hopefully. And I'm gonna
Yeah, yeah,
try while he's focused on you
Let's get
with
Alex
the
up.
revive. Cool.
Thank you.
Run. Nice.
Yes.
Oh,
Good job,
Got him.
team. Wow.
That was
that was
extremely
pretty
close.
intense.
That's challenge level 2
2.
out of 6.
It gets tough.
Nice.
Yeah, at those
So-
higher levels, it's about gear progression, but also mastery of the game, like learning the monster timings, learning their attacks, learning the AI, and just playing really well. Like, you have to be pretty dexterous.